Attorney Zach Bailey with the Marc Lopez Law Firm to talk a little bit about the Fifth Amendment and what it means. So if you've seen any of our videos or been on our website, you've seen plenty of times that we always tell you, plead the Fifth. But what exactly does that mean, and why do we think it's so important? So the Fifth Amendment of the United States states that no person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. There are a lot of different clauses there, each one having sort of a different meaning and a different power behind it. You heard about the double jeopardy clause in there, meaning you can't be held to answer for the same crime more than once. And we see double jeopardy come up all the time. If we win a case, the state can't just file the case against you again. So that's important. But the one that we mainly talk about is the Fifth Amendment right to not testify against yourself, the right against self-incrimination. So we never want anyone to talk to the police about their case, because we always tell people you're not going to talk yourself out of trouble. But not only is it a bad idea, you have an absolute right against testifying against yourself. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So one of the first benefits of it is it stops you from testifying against yourself and giving evidence that could be used against you in a trial. A lot of times the police are going to be friendly with you and talk to you about the case. You do not need to talk to them anymore. They're always fishing for information. Even if it seems like they're being your friend, they're trying to get information out of you. So don't talk about your case with them. You don't have to. It's not being rude. It's helping yourself out. And the state's also not always going to be friendly about it. They could put pressure on you. You know, a lot of times in an interrogation room, the police are going to be putting pressure on you. Help yourself out. You need to tell us the truth. You don't need to help yourself out. You do not need to testify against yourself. Everything you say is going to be used against you and just make their job that much easier. This is why the Miranda warnings are so important, where they let you know that you have a right to remain silent. Exercise that right. It is so important, and it's protected by that Fifth Amendment. It has the Fifth Amendment behind it to preserve that right for you. In America, it is so important. It's the backbone of our justice system is that you are innocent until proven guilty. Do not do anything that's going to help them prove your guilt. You know, pleading the Fifth Amendment helps reinforce that belief that you're innocent until proven guilty. You don't need to prove anything to the state. You don't need to testify or give them any testimony that they can use. You don't have to prove anything to them. It's their burden of proof, not yours. You do not have to talk about how this happened or anything. You don't have to prove anything. The Fifth Amendment protects that. And finally, pleading the Fifth and not testifying against yourself ensures that everything is fair. You know, the state has all these resources that they can use to try to prove your guilt. They don't need to force you to self-incriminate yourself. That goes against all of these due process rights that you have. So we tell you to plead the Fifth because it is so, so important not to testify against yourself, not to help the state out in proving your case, even if it feels like you're just trying to explain your side of the story and maybe you aren't self-incriminating. Everything you say can and will be used against you. Remember that. You're never going to talk yourself out of trouble. It's so much more beneficial for you to reach out to an attorney, talk to them, and have them intervene on your behalf. That's why we call it our Plead the Fifth program. You plead the Fifth, you don't say anything about your case, and we intervene on your behalf and do what we can to try to help the situation out. So that's a little bit about what the Fifth Amendment is and why it's so important for you and why we always tell you to plead the Fifth. If you have any questions about it, give us a call, 317-632-3642.